Following me so far? You understand what's happening here? That's when asylum seeker and like Asada Shakur, those are asylum seekers. Then you have migrants. They like to use the word migrants, right? They have migrants. And migrants are people who voluntarily, keyword voluntarily, leave their country to come to another country for work in what they believe are better living conditions. Migrants who enter into this country, migrants are legal, right? They go through the proper channels to get into this country, not undocumented immigrants, but they go through the proper channels to get into the country. They are afforded work, and they are afforded other benefits when they come into this country. That's migrants. Now, asylum seekers and refugees are not initially afforded certain benefits like work, right? But they get other benefits. So people might say, well, why are we even giving them $450,000 each? Each. For people who are allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly because I don't know, I'm saying allegedly, for people who are allegedly separated from their children. Now, I think it's fair for me to explain why I'm saying allegedly, because I know some of y'all get emotional as hell, especially my comrades or scholars. They don't like me. They don't like me. But that's okay. I don't suffer from a disease of conformity. You ain't got to like me. I don't give a fuck. I don't like your ass either. We cool, right? We even now. You don't like me, I don't like you. Boom. You don't stop my dollars, I don't stop your dollars. Boom, mind your business, right? But I'm just saying, why does it matter? Why does it matter? They do have a right. So a lot of people are arguing they have their rights. Their right is to seek protection from prosecution. And while they're seeking protection from prosecution, they have a right to housing, and they have a right to cash support, and they have a right to petition eligible family members back in their country to come to this country. Right? And they make their application and they wait for their hearing and they go through their credible fair interview, and if they pass the interview they get to stay. They get to stay, and once they get to stay they got all these rights and freedom. All these rights and freedom they get. So who are the people that get to come as asylum seekers? Because that's the language that they are using in the lawsuits. You have to understand, family, that language is everything. Language is everything. A lot of us need to get our language correct. You got to learn how to speak it the shit correct if you're going to be able to have your argument and your fight be heard by the people who have the authority to give you $450,000 each. Woo! Now, as I was saying, the language is asylum seekers, because asylum seekers have a right to enter into this country to file petitions. They're not going to say undocumented immigrants. They're not going to say illegal immigrants. They're not going to say these kind of things because those people do not get liberties afforded. You cannot enter the country through illegal means and get liberties afforded to you. Understand what I'm saying? So when you use the language such as asylum seekers, it changes the whole damn ballgame. Because you have to prove that they're not asylum seekers. And the asylum seekers have to prove that they're not safe in their country, whether they're not safe in the country on the basis of their race, whether they're not safe in their country on the basis of their religion, on the basis of their nationality, on the basis of their membership to a particular social group, on the basis of their political opinion that's in opposition or intolerable to their government. Once they prove that these things are happening, and if they go back to their country, they will be killed, they get to stay in our country. And while the government is trying to figure out if we should keep them here because they are asylum seekers, they are entitled to certain laws, certain rights, certain rights. Somebody said there's one thing to let them in, but why payment? Queen Abby, are you late? Are you late? Well, I'm explaining to you why the payment. Because they're filing the payment on the basis of the emotional distress that they went through that will have long-term effects on these asylum seekers. And so the government has not proven that they're not asylum seekers. They failed, some of them, not all of them, some of them failed their credible fear interviews, but they got the lawsuits to give them the right to take these tests again. And now that they have their children reunified with them, they're going to calm down and they're going to pass their exam, and then they become asylum seekers. And then they have a right to payments because now they're welcome into the country. Somebody said we did not vote for that. That's cool. If your ass voted for Biden, you will voted for that. Because Biden, on his first 100 days in office, his plan was immigration. Did you not watch the debate between Trump and Biden? Did y'all not watch me before you went into the poll and you pulled the lever for Bittler? I keep saying Biden and his name is Bittler. Before you guys went into the poll and pulled the lever for Bittler, you voted for that. That's the whole reason why we have presidential debates. So you can understand the position that everyone is taking before you go ahead and cast your vote. So don't say you ain't vote for it. You ain't pay attention. You voted out of emotionality. That's how you voted. And when people like me were telling you not to vote for Villa, we were stupid. We were stupid. We were troublemakers. We were troublemakers. We were divisive. We were ignorant. We were causing a problem. That's what people like y'all who went into the polls and voted for Bittler, that's what y'all said to us. That's what y'all said to us. We didn't vote for this. Yes, you did. Yes, you did, baby. If you went and you pulled that lever for Biden or Bittler, you did. You did. You absolutely did. Don't start backpedaling now, baby. Don't start changing your thoughts now, baby. You did. You absolutely did. You can't make up shit now. See what happens when we suffer from the disease of conformity. Somebody said, I voted and regret every minute of it now. I've seen the light. You seen the light too late, baby. Too late, baby. Them asylum seekers coming in, they're going to have $1 million, baby. $1 million off the red, baby, at the very minimum. Some of them going to have more than that because some of them in here with 2, 3 kids. You got 3 kids, 450 a piece. You know, over $1 million, baby. You regret it. Regret it. Oh, baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. If they get them, if they get them coins, they get the bag. They damn sure ain't gonna be making no rap music videos. They damn sure ain't gonna be playing at the NFL. They damn sure they gonna be owning the house you live in that you paying them rent to. What? Do you not understand? You're gonna be going into their business and frequenting their business so that you can survive. Do you not understand? So that's a whole other conversation. I got that. Let's talk about the mental health disease. Somebody said we suffer from ignorance. You damn right I am God. Right? That's right, Dizzy. Or for your tax dollars. Or for your tax dollars. But that's a whole other conversation. Some of y'all about to marry some of these asylum seekers. Hope y'all get some money. Don't try to act like I'm being mean and rude. I'm not being mean and rude. We already know that a lot of y'all marry people who are getting citizenship. A lot of y'all marry people for some coins, and usually I get about $30,000 or a little bit more some coins for marrying somebody who needs to get their papers in the U.S. I'm saying you better go ahead and find them asylum seekers that got their 450 grand. Shit, they $1 million, $1 million. You better go marry some of them now, baby. Buy into some wealth. I'm just trying to tell you that's how America was built, right? They bought into wealth. Everybody was marrying strategically on purpose for wealth. Woo, baby. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Let's move on to the disease of social conformity. This is the problem that I have. Somebody said that's a good idea. I ain't even gonna say, I was joking, sis. I hope you joking too. I see that laughing emoji. I'm going to say your name out loud because I ain't telling you go ahead and marry no asylum seeker for some money. All right. Somebody said lack of knowledge among our people is destroying us inside and out. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what's actually destroying us inside out. It is the social disease called conformity. This is Mental Health Friday on a Sunday. It is the social disease called conformity. Y'all need to write that shit down. That is destroying us, among other things, other disorders and diseases I talk about, right? Social conformity is just one of them. You need to write that down. What exactly is social conformity? See, this is where some of y'all gonna get upset because it's gonna cause y'all to look at yourselves and look at how you operate and look at your thought process and look at your behaviors, your attitudes, your values, and see how much you have changed in order for you to fit in, baby. That's what social conformity is when you change your behavior, your attitude, and your values in order for you to fit in. And social conformity usually comes about from real, like it's actual, or imagine group pressure. We see a lot of people conforming right now, right, with the whole pandemic and the jab and everything, right? We see a lot of people conforming right now, right? And but there's three levels of conformity I want to bring up, right? Three levels of it. You have compliance. We're going to talk about all three of these in a moment. I'm just going to say it. We got compliance. We have identification, and we have internalization. Let's break it down. What exactly is compliance when it comes to social conformity, the disease, the social disease of conformity? What is compliance? Now, that's the lowest level. I want you to think of compliance this way, because a lot of y'all do this, right? A lot of y'all do this, and y'all don't realize that it's hurting you. Y'all think it's innocent. You think it's innocent, but it's actually hurting us as a community of people. This is what y'all do. You change your behaviors when you are in public. There was a great book that was written talking about primarily, not even primarily, it was mainly, or it was only talking about black folks, if I'm not mistaken. And it was saying how we go through this shifting thing, right? So when we're in a public, we gotta shift. We gotta shift in order for us to blend in. But our belief system, our own belief system that are private is not in alignment with the public behaviors that we are displaying. So when we are in public, we behave a certain way. We may say certain things. We may agree with certain things, but our thought process is totally different. We do it to fit in. It's still bad. It's still conformity. On the outside, you doing what you have to do to fit in. So many of us was raised by our parents. You go and don't say nothing. If they say sit down, sit down. Right? That was our mindset. Don't talk back. Just go ahead. Just do what they tell you to do. Just do what you want to do. Your goal is to make it through. Just make it through. Come on home. Just go ahead and keep your job. Just nod your head. When people tell you to do X, Y, and Z, just go ahead and do X, Y, and Z. Nobody needs to know what you think. Nobody needs to know what your belief is. Just go ahead and do what they tell you to do. Don't start acting up. Don't start speaking out. Don't start standing out like a thorn or not a thorn. Standing out like whatever. You know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. Don't start doing none of that shit. Whatever they tell you to do, you better do. Right? Just like 504 Empress said, just keep your head down and move. That is what many of us have been conditioned to do because we're taught not to stand out, not to be different. So on the outside, in the public, we do whatever we gotta do. And behind doors, we complain, we bitch, we moan, and we don't do shit about it. We just complain, bitch, and moan, and inside. And by the time we get outside again, we right back to being a stepford wife. We don't do anything different. We just go along and get along. We do whatever everyone else is doing. I'm just trying to say, y'all, this is why all this stuff is allowed to happen. Because we don't have enough people who are non-conformists. We have too many people who conform. The second level, the second level of a conformance is identification. These are the people that not only do they change their behavior publicly, but when they're in public, they also change their belief system. So if somebody was to turn around and say, right, isn't this ridiculous? They're separating these children at the border and they're putting them in cages. You say, this is ridiculous. It is. It's absolutely ridiculous. See, that's different from a compliance person. A compliance says they're coming in their lunch break. Everyone is talking about it. This is ridiculous. They got these children in cages and their mama's not around. And the compliance person is just there to get their paycheck, so they're not going to argue back. They're going to sit there, they're going to blend in, they're going to do what the fuck they have to do. And then 5 o'clock comes, they're going to go there like, you believe these motherfuckers are talking about these kids in the cages? What about our kids getting separated from their parents? What about our ancestors still not being compensated? Everybody else got compensated but us, but we didn't get shit. By the time they get back in public, they ain't going to say nothing. They're going to keep their mouth shut. The identification type of conformance, they publicly start saying, yeah, this is ridiculous. Yeah, we should go march. We should do something about this. Yeah, we should march. We should do something about it. Right? You understand what I'm trying to say, family? That's what they do. And they're out there in the public and they're marching and they got their picket. They're doing everything and they're blending in because they don't want to be the ones that say, nah, I'm good. I ain't about this life. I'm good. Wish them the best of luck, but that ain't my fight. Dude. I'm good. They don't want to say that because they don't want to be isolated. So they just go ahead. And when they're in the public and they're around that group of people, they just do what the fuck everyone else is doing. They say what everybody else is doing. They become parrots. They just repeat what everyone else is saying because it's popular. They haven't given it any thought. They're like, I'm just going to go along with it, say this shit. It sounds good. It sounds right. It sounds right. Yeah, they right. They right. We should fight for this. Just like when they were separating black children. We should be angry. Yeah, that's right. I'm angry. They haven't given it any thought. They don't have any logic. They don't have any reasoning. They just say, I'm angry. And they just go along with everything. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's right. No, you should be mad. You should be mad because we don't fight for them. They're going to do it to us too. This is what identification people do. That's the second level of conformity. The third level of conformity, I see y'all still with me, family. Y'all still with me in the chat. You're still hitting the like button. Smash that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe channel for YouTubers. Go ahead and follow me on Facebook, family. I'm telling you, we have deep conversations now, but it's not about whether you agree or disagree. I'm giving you something different to ponder on. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do with it. You can continue to conform and do what you want. I don't care. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just giving you all different ways. Let's get into the third level of conformity. Woo. This is the worst level of the disease of conformity. The internalization level of conformity. Not only do these jokers change their behavior, not only do these jokers change their belief system, they keep it and they maintain it. Nothing wakes them up out of it. They maintain it for the long term, indefinitely. Those are the people that just want to blend in. They don't want to be different. They want to assimilate as much as possible. They want to take on the thoughts and the beliefs of the people that mean them no good. The internalization. They start to adopt other people's cultures. They start to adopt other people's belief systems. They start to adopt other people's traditions. They start to adopt the way of life of everybody else. And they just say, you know what? I'm not like my own. I just don't identify with my own. I just don't have nothing in common with my own. So we got these three types of people among us. Right? LT Soul said fully indoctrinated. It is a social disease. We got these three type of people among us. And why? Why is it possible? Why do we willingly conform to this nonsense? I don't get it. We all say we want greatness. We all say we want achievements. We want success. We all say these things. We want justice. We want our 40 acres and a mule. We all say these kind of things. These are the things that we say. I'm talking to my community. We know we got some long distance cousins in here. Yeah. the long distance cousins may not be able to relate. You know, the long distance cousins always, they come in. They come in, but I'm talking to the nuclear family members. I'm talking to the immediate family members. You know what I mean? Right now, and this I'm talking to the immediate family members. This is the stuff that we say we want. We want justice for our family members. We want our 40 acres and a mule for our family. Somebody said 40 acres and a damn house, right? We say we want all these things for our family members. This is the shit that we say we want. We want these things. But for some reason, we can't get it correct. We can't get it right. And I think we can't get it right because we fear our own potential. We fear our own potential. And the reason why we fear being great, being successful, getting what the fuck we set out to get, the reason why we fear these things is because we don't want to be isolated. We got too many people falling in those three categories: compliance, identification, and internalization. We got too many people falling in those categories. And they fall in those categories and they think it's protection because it allows them to feel like they're being accepted by the main group. Now, this doesn't just relate to us. Does it apply everywhere? Yeah. But damn it, it shows up like a motherfucker among us. That's all I'm saying. It shows up deeply among us. And we gotta really have this honest conversation. When we start talking some crazy shit, we gotta separate. We better, oh, I don't know about separation. That's just stupid. That's just stupid. Separate for what? That's just stupid. Can you make your own tissue? Do you got your own factory? Do you got your own distribution? That's crazy. We'll go back to living like we was in 1920. We did some shit like that. That's crazy. Because we don't want to be separated from the main group. We don't want to be separated from the main society. We seek acceptance. We seek to be included. And so, in order for us to do something different, we got to be different. And we're not comfortable being different because nobody else is different. We want to be like everybody else. Even if we are compliant. In the public, we're going along, get along. Behind closed doors, we're complaining, but we ain't doing shit. We're not doing shit because we don't want to be separated. We still want to be able to show up and do things like everybody else. Think about like what's going on right now with this pandemic, right? Half the motherfuckers don't trust the mRNA. The mRNA, that's what I'm going to say. Half the motherfuckers do not trust the mRNA injection. But they went along to get along because they were sold something. They don't want to seem like they're on the outskirts. They want to do what everybody else is doing. And since we all doing it, everybody needs to do it. And if you're not doing it, you're different. And if you're different, you're going to be isolated, and you're going to be ostracized. So nobody wants to feel isolated, and they don't want to feel ostracized. So they do what everyone else is doing, even though they don't believe it. But then you have the people who are not afraid of being different. You have the people that stand in their truth. That say, fuck it, I'm gonna fight to the end. Even if I lose, I'm gonna fight. Like some of us was raised how my mama raised me. She said, they come for you, you better fight. Even if you lose, you better fight. You better grab one of those motherfuckers and make sure they get a beat down. While they stuffing on your head and in your back, you better be on one of them motherfuckers right there and make sure they get a beat down. Because if you don't fight back, you're gonna be a sucker for life. You know how we say sucker free Friday, right? We gonna stay sucker free. Sucker free means you want to stand up for your rights, even if you're unpopular. Sucker free means, listen, no one else might be doing it, that's okay, and I ain't a sucker. I'm standing in my truth. My truth ain't your truth, and that's cool. You, and I'm you, and I'm me. We're different. We got different DNA, we got different blood, we got different thumbprints, we got different hairs. We're different. But too many people are not willing to do that because they know in order to do that, they will be isolated and separated. So I say this, family, to say to you, what we need to be fearing is conformity. That's the only thing we need to fear. We need to fear standing in. We need to be okay with standing out. We need to be okay with saying what the hell we need to say and standing on our belief and not being afraid of being isolated from having an unpopular belief. Isn't that what the ACLU eventually stands for? Like, not for people to have a right to free speech? The First Amendment? Isn't that what they stand on? See, I want y'all to know that in order for you guys to fight this effectively, you gotta know your rights. You gotta know your rights and you gotta know law. And if you don't sit down long enough to be able to do your research and understand your rights and understand laws, you will remain a sucker. You will not be sucker free. You'll be sucker enslaved. You'll be a sucker. Period. Period. Right? So before we go out there and get all angry, be like, oh, why did it happen? And you gotta understand. You gotta do your research. You have to have your knowledge. Don't just be getting angry because everybody else is getting angry. Don't just become emotional because everybody else is being emotional. Be okay with stepping back and looking at this from a different angle. And being able to say to yourself, how can I learn from this? And what can I do to get the same benefits that they get in these people? You heard what I said? What can I do to get those same benefits? Because we cannot depend on the compliant people in our community to do it. We cannot depend on the people who are loving to identify with the main society for us to do what we need to do. We cannot depend on those who internalize the nonsense that they said and they live it. They live it to their last breath. We cannot depend on the Uncle Ruckus of our societies. We cannot depend on these kind of people. So when we tell y'all to stay on code, we mean it. We mean it. To be on code is to be unpopular. To be on code is to not conform. You gotta fear conformity. Because when you conform, you lose as an individual. When you conform, you don't reach your goals. I admire those who don't conform. I admire those who say, fuck it, I ain't gonna be like I'm gonna be different. Even if I'm hated, I'm cool. I admire those people. Because they get shit done. I told y'all the history of the ACLU. This is not because I agree with them, I disagree with them. I don't give a fuck. They ain't helping me. Right? So I'm not even worried about that. But what I'm saying to you is I admire what they're doing because they say, even if I'm unpopular, I'm gonna play chess in a way that helps me to win. Y'all caught that? I'm going to play chess in a way that helps me to win, even if I lose popularity. Even if people don't like me, I'm good. Just as long as my goals are reached. We need to be like that. We need to be non-conformists. We need to be like that. We need to say, even if you motherfuckers don't like me, as long as we're moving in unison, as long as we're going for our goal, we gotta keep the eyes on the prize. Y'all afraid of the proverbial lynch. Oh, I don't want to get lynched. Oh, Lord Jesus, no, I'm gonna get lynched. Oh, I don't want to do that. They're gonna kill me.